June the 7th, 2020. I just want to do a little walkthrough of my greenhouse. Kind of getting a late start doing any videoing of this thing, but I felt like it was something I should share with y'all. This is my cucumbers, part of my cucumbers. I got them on it's set up like a Dutch bucket system. It's coming out of a water tank, water reservoir. Got a pump pumping up. It's got this hose. As you can see, it's probably the hose is just spraying water on there. This yellow container is full of perlite. I've got some clay pebbles and a little bit of lava rock up on top just to kind of break some of the sun from getting out on the perlite. Cut down on some of the algae. So it's just flowing into there. Got holes drilled at the bottom of the container. You see right here, just kind of sitting up on a pallet, and the water just flows back into the reservoir. Creates some air. You can see the bubbles right on the bottom. And this right here is a cauliflower plant. Not cauliflower, excuse me. It's a cantaloupe. I bought one container of little cantaloupe seedlings, I think at Home Depot. When I got home, I separated them to put into this hydroponic system. I ended up getting 11 or 12 plants out of that one container, and they're doing really good. They were about 1.5 inches high when I got them. They've probably been in here 3 weeks. This is one of them. Some of the other ones are over here on another table. We'll just kind of pan around here to that. Here's some of the other ones. I've got these set up just in a cracky system. My intentions are to have water continuous flow into these cracky. Once they get to growing a little better, I have these down spouts right here. I can point them out. When the water level gets down enough to where I can turn this spout all the way down, I'll have it going into a reservoir, and a pump will be pumping up to the top of each one of these cracky containers. It's just an experimental project, but I think it's going to work quite well. I've already got a couple outside on a grow table outside. I'll show you them later on, and you can see what I'm talking about. They're already set up. Water's already running continuously into the 5-gallon bucket and returning back to the reservoir, and they're doing pretty good. So we'll visit that little area later on. There's another cantaloupe right here, and it's planted in perlite. I have to hand water it. I water it twice a day, and it's doing really good. Actually, it's doing better than these. These right here were in perlite to begin with, and just a small container like this tomatoes in. Something small like that, just perlite, and I was hand watered them, and they kind of got stunted a little bit. But since I put them in here, they're looking a lot better, so I think they're going to be fine. Okay, here's some more cucumbers, and they're growing kind of crazy. If you can see, they're already up. If I had some way to show you just how high they are, I'm going to say that's about 11 feet. The roof is 12 feet. That beam is 12 feet high. So, or right at 12 feet high. So I'm thinking that cucumber plant is probably 11 feet. And then down here some tomatoes. They're doing really good. This bucket right here is called Millions, Sweet Millions tomatoes. This little patio tomatoes, you can see they're starting to come on there pretty good now. And it's full of blooms. And these are runners too, as you can tell. And I grew some of these last year, and they were touching the ceiling of my little makeshift greenhouse and hanging back down probably halfway there. They really go wild and produce tons and tons. If you like patio tomatoes, they produce tons and tons of tomatoes. And there's actually, I think, 7 plants in this one 5-gallon bucket. They came up on their own from last year, and I just kind of tended to them. I separated some of them, and I just left these in here. Was going to give them to some family and friends, and that never happened. So they just started growing, and I really didn't have a choice but to put them in my system and start tending to them as best I could and just see how they would produce with that many plants in one 5-gallon bucket. And as you can see, they're doing pretty doggone good. This tomato here, it's called a big boy tomato. It came up, that's another voluntary plant that came up on its own. I bought some of these Dutch buckets last year, a year before, and I used them, but I kind of prefer the 5-gallon buckets over these. A lot cheaper too. But here's some more of the better boy or big boy tomatoes that are growing over here in some 5-gallon buckets, and you can tell that they are really putting it out. I don't have as many blooms up top as I was hoping I would have this time of the year, but it is what it is. They may produce later. Last year I picked tomatoes off of these plants right up to Christmas time. Nothing like a fresh tomato sandwich off your tomato plant at Christmas time. But they're doing quite well. I just got through pruning them back and call it giving them a little haircut just a few minutes ago. They were this end down here was getting a little bit out of hand. But there's a pretty cluster right there that's coming. And some more there. And they're kind of blended in with some more of those sweet millions, if you can see them in there. A cluster or two going. And this little cluster of sweet millions here, this is my snack when I come out here to the greenhouse. I just pick them right off the bush and you just go ahead and eat them. You can tell I'm going to have a lot of eating to do when all this is said and done. But they're already, if you can see my hand up there, I'm 6 foot tall and it's still way up over my hand high. I'm still growing crazy, so I don't know what I'm going to get out of these. Everything comes out of this reservoir down here. I have my solution mixed up in here. Got a pump in there. It pumps up through this water hose. Water hose comes around, ties into that 3/4 inch piece of PVC pipe, and I just have little drop tubes going down into each one of the buckets. And it waters them. Then the water returns down here into a 2-inch pipe. And that 2-inch pipe goes back to my reservoir. It's a pretty neat little system. It does a pretty good job. I'm proud of it. Had a storm blow through here. I'm down right on the coast in South Georgia. Had a storm came through and blew part of my roof off last year, and I hadn't took the time to try to fix it. And I was kind of curious to see anyway how much getting the direct sun, how that would affect the plants. So these on this end are doing good, but honestly they're not producing as much fruit as some of the other plants are. And I think another problem is, in my opinion, I'm not an agricultural scientist or nothing like that, but I suspect that these plants right here are cross-pollinating. And we got some big boy tomatoes and the Sweet Millions patio tomatoes growing, just intermingling with each other. So I'm thinking that they're probably cross-pollinating some. But I know when I ate some of these right here the other day and this morning, if I might confess, that they were some good tomatoes. Tasted really good. And I already have eaten some tomato sandwiches off of these boys. And I have to say, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they would produce all year. So they were really good. I use a Master Blend fertilizer. I order it off of Amazon. I'm sure you can get it from some local. If you can buy it local, that would be great. I can't, so I have to order mine. It's the Master Blend 4-1838 with comes in 3 parts with the calcium nitrate, 15.500, and some Epsom salt. And I just use a tablespoon of the Master Blend, a tablespoon of the calcium nitrate, and a half a tablespoon of Epsom salt for 5 gallons of water. And about 3 years ago when I started doing this, I bought the scales to weigh the fertilizer, and I bought the pH meter, which I do use a pH down. My water in my well is it's about 7.4 pH, and I put about a quarter of a teaspoon, about a half of a teaspoon in a 5-gallon bucket of water, and it knocks my pH down to around 6.4, 6.5, and that's what I try to maintain. I don't check it anymore because the water that my reservoir, with this many plants on that reservoir, it goes through about 5 gallons of water a day. So I mix up a 5-gallon batch of water each day and add to my reservoir, so that keeps the water fresh. And I know that mixture is what I need with I had the pH meter and the EC meter, and I was checking it pretty regularly when I first got it, but since it was so consistent, changing my solution practically every day, adding 5 gallons of water to my reservoir, I just don't even check it anymore. I would recommend checking it if you're just getting started with some hydroponics or using a different kind of fertilizer, and you can go online and find out exactly what the mixture you need for your plants. And I use the same mixture on my cucumbers, cantaloupes, tomatoes, you name it. I got some little mustards that I planted just kind of as an experiment. Around here it gets so hot in the summertime that mustards is usually a later, like a fall crop, but I just got these in a little cracky tub and put them in there as seedlings. I almost let it get away from me, and they kind of got a little bit stemmy, but I'm going to let them grow and just see what they'll do. But right now they're doing pretty good. They've been in this container for probably, I'm going to say, 5 days or something like that. They just come out, and I should have moved them earlier. That was my fault. And there's in the corner over there, just went up in the corner, some towers that I had last year with some strawberries, and they done pretty good too. But, I may start some of them later, but for now I'm just going to go with what I got. I did plant some zucchini seeds, and they hadn't come up yet, so I'll have some zucchinis going here before long I can share with y'all. That kind of sums it up. We'll walk out to my little outdoor garden, if you want to call it that. I've got 2 buckets out there, so I guess it is an outdoor garden. We'll go out there and check it out. I got some cantaloupes growing, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. This is a little system. I'm just getting this thing set up. We'll be adding to it. These are the cantaloupes that are growing in the cracky. And again, this is an experiment, but I'm loving what it's doing right now. Just got it set up on a padlet. My return lines come out of here. It's right here I use just to fill that reservoir, and I haven't had to use it yet. But it goes down. If you can see, the water is dripping back into a 5-gallon bucket. It's got my solution in it. It just comes up in here through that water hose just rigged onto that 3/4 inch pipe. Little drip tube right here running into the bucket, and it keeps the bucket at the same level all the time, so I don't have to worry about opening them lids to check it. I don't have to worry about it getting too low. What I experienced last year, it would get low and air roots would form, and then when the bucket got filled back up, it would try to drown my plants. So I'm hoping that this right here will take care of that, and we'll know more about that as time goes on. I'll be posting some more videos and showing you the progress of these plants. And like I say, this is June the 7th, so we'll give it about a week or so, and we'll come back out here and visit it again, and maybe I'll have some more buckets to show y'all too. So in the meantime, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. Like I say, I'm not some kind of mad scientist, but I have been doing this now for 3 years, and had some pretty good success. So I would love sharing what knowledge I do have and my experiences, my successes and my failures. I'll share with y'all and maybe help y'all to grow your own. And nothing more pleasurable than sitting down and eating something that you grew in your own garden. And in my opinion, this is one of the easiest and the most fun ways to garden. It's not a back-breaking job for sure. And as far as hoeing in the garden, them days are done. So y'all enjoy, and we'll catch y'all next time. All right, bye now.